I'm back at my favorite store in the Reno Tahoe area, Harland Watch and Diamond. As you know, I bought my IWC Le Petit Prince watch from this store a few weeks ago, and I love the watch. Today, however, I wanted to explore a genre of watches I'm not that familiar with, namely divers watches, and divers watches that could be had for an attainable price point, let's just say around the $1,000 mark. To that extent, boutique manager Stephen has graciously agreed to show me some options of brands that they sell at this store. So, Stephen?
Hi, Kunal. Pleasure to see you again. So yes, as you said, you want to take a look at some dive watches here, all at that 1,000 or under mark, and I think I've got a couple of nice variations for you and what we have in stock. So let's start here. This is the Tissot Seastar Powermatic 80 2000 feet. So this watch is a little bit of a thicker dive watch for sure. It does have that beautiful helium escape valve there for when you do go diving to release that pressure. The screw down crown, and it does have a sapphire crystal case back to see that wonderful Tissot Powermatic 80 movement. So this watch is a little bit bigger. It is in a 43 millimeter case size, but it does have that beautiful wave dial on the wave texture on that dial, and I do like that color there. It's just really reminiscent of the ocean. This is a little bit of a thicker case, as I said, as you can see there, but that's just because it has such great depth capabilities and it needs to allow for that slim helium release valve. This is at the top end of the price point at right around 1,000, but it is definitely good bang for buck when you consider other watches like the Omega Planet Ocean that does have similar dive capabilities. You are looking at probably 5 times plus at least the cost of this watch. So value for money. This is a really beautiful watch. It has a great light blue luminescence on the dial as well, with the 80-hour power reserve on the movement. I just think overall it is a very good watch. Take a step down here. We have the Tissot Seastar Powermatic 80 1000 meter. So this watch has a little bit less capabilities. It is 300 meters, so 1,000 feet. It does not have the helium escape valve, but it is definitely a little bit of a thinner case profile. Very similar case design, but a little bit smaller at the 42 millimeter mark. And instead of having that wave dial, it does have that very nice sunburst dial on it as well. Same sort of luminescence as well, with that nice light blue luminescence on the dial, which is very bright and very nice to read. I've actually had one of these watches. I took it camping with me, took it to the lake, all that kind of stuff, and actually I could read my dial clean as day at 1 o'clock in the morning when I was by the campfire. It's a really impressive watch, I think. For a couple hundred less, it's right around $700. You get a really impressive dive watch, and it's a really comfortable piece. I do think Tissot with that Powermatic 80 movements has really done a really big step up. It does have a ceramic insert in the bezel as well, another nice little touch as well that they've got.
And Stephen, the 80 and Powermatic 80s, does that mean the amount of hours?
Yes, that is in reference to the power reserve that the movement contains. So it's got an 80-hour power reserve in both of these movements. They both have the same movement inside the watch, but it's just obviously the case design is a little bit different.
And do the bezels rotate in these watches?
Yes, so that's a key feature for dive watches. They all have that unidirectional rotating bezel there. You can only go one way. But both pieces, very clean, very crisp sounding. And also with this next watch, same principle. And this watch here, this is the Hamilton Khaki Scuba line. It's a little bit smaller, it's at a 40 millimeter case size, a little bit thinner as well. It's on a rubber strap here. It does come on a stainless steel bracelet, but I wanted to show you a nice little bit of variation there with the rubber strap. So this watch comes with the Hamilton H10 movement, which comes with a 72-hour power reserve. Not quite as good as the 80, but in the grand scheme of things, it is a very good movement. Again, with that nice screw down crown, a little bit more of the crown guard on there as well to stop it from catching on certain things when you do go diving. I do like how it has this nice color here on the bezel, where it's got the black and the blue here, where it goes down to the 15, which is a very common time. It's for when you are diving, when you go under. The typical time that a tank normally contains is 15 to 20 minutes. Hence why on most dive watches you see here also on the Seastar has these lines all the way around to the 20. and then on the Hamilton it goes around for 15. Just to indicate when you go down, just say you go down now, you can look and you can see, okay, this is how long I've been down, and this is how long I have until then.
Okay. So it makes sense to me. It's almost a timing gauge of how long you've been submerged under the water.
Exactly. It allows you to know how much time and air you have left when diving, so you're not caught out of breath, and you do have a good way of timing without having a chronograph feature or something like that. Right. It's a very good, very simple tool aspect on it.
Stephen, one question about these watches. These depth ratings seem to be significantly higher than most recreational divers would probably use. Are all these three watches capable of what I'll call recreational divers, which is not probably getting down to the 2,000 foot mark or whatever it is, but more attainable levels with a basic PADI certification? Would all these three watches work? Or
100%. All of these three watches would be more than sufficient for your general everyday kind of diving. Right. If you did want to go deep sea diving, this would be the one to go with because it does have that higher depth rating. Sure. But for your casual diver, as you said, your PADI certifications, these two watches, all three of these watches would be more than sufficient for what you need to do. All of these watches can at least go down to 300 meters to 1,000 feet.
Okay. Stephen, thank you so much for educating me on dive watches at an attainable price point, I guess is the best way we can put this. You hear so much about Omega and Rolex and different brands like that, and significantly higher price points, but there seems to be a value-driven part of this watch market as well that seems to have the essentials to be able to get the job done. So it seems like any of these would be a good entry level or a first
most definitely
solid dive choice for a customer.
Yeah, these brands, when I get a customer who wants a good entry level luxury dive watch, these are the three that I pull out 9 times out of 10, just because, as you said, for an attainable price point, for someone who's not looking to spend Omega money, who's not looking to spend $4,000 to $5,000+ or even $2,000, which to a lot of people is a lot of money to spend on a watch. This is a very, as you said, obtainable, really realistic price point for a really good quality tool watch that will serve you for a very long time, and it will do the job that you need it to do.
Stephen, as always, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you, Kunal. Thank you for coming in.